Thank you for staying with us. We start with this. Rabada spearheaded the Proteas comeback on day 2 of the World Test Championship as South Africa ripped through Australia's batting order to leave them reeling at 144 for 8 in their second innings with a lead of just 218 runs at stumps. At the start of the day, the Proteas' batting lineup fell apart as Australia captain Pat Cummins produced a sensational spell of 4 wickets for just 1 run as the title holders seized control of the World Test Championship final at Lord's. The Proteas were eventually bowled out for 138 in reply to Australia's first innings of 212 on the second day. 30-year-old Cummins finished with final figures of 6 for 28 as he went to 300 career test wickets. South Africa lost their last 5 wickets for just 12 runs, with a comedy run-out not helping their cause. Cummins ripped through the lower order on his way to a 14th 5-wicket haul in 68 tests and first at Lord's. But in their second innings, Australia felt the heat. Rabada, and Vian Mulder were lethal with ball in hand to bring South Africa back into the contest. At stumps, Australia were reeling at 144 for 8 with a lead of just 218 runs. Well, to chat a bit more about that test match and how things look for the Proteas, I'm joined in studio by legendary Protea Makhaya Ntini in the flesh. Maki, thank you so much for making time for us. I know you were commentating this match and you quickly ran over to come give us a bit of your time. But just from a bowling perspective, a beautiful wicket to bowl on.
Yeah, I know for a fact that, thank you very much, I should say that, yes, it's been a long day, I must say. And then I think in how South Africa has actually come back from where we thought that is going to be a long day for them. Rabada, as you say, is a spear for South Africa, getting those first 2 wickets. And then you got Jansen on the other side. We came in as well, you know, to have a breakthrough. And then I think as well that what Ngidi has done to pick up one of the biggest, you know, 3 wickets of the Australian lineup, it really made a massive difference. Yes, Vian Mulder, we thought the last over, and then he just being dropped the last wicket by Jansen. And I think the lineup and the way that the guys, they actually, you know, perform today is unbelievable. And I think as well, Bavuma will go home smiling.
As somebody who's played there at Lord's, they talk about the slope.
The slope and all of that.
They talk about the juke ball. Just tell us what is happening and what all these intricate, you know, pieces of information that bowlers need to be aware of.
No, they're not lying. You know, all of that, what you just mentioned, they are there. You know, juke ball is one of the balls that is so difficult as well to be handled. And then you're talking about playing at Lord's where there's a slope on the other side, and the other side is a little bit of a uphill. But I think they've actually used the slope very, very well. And then I may say that, you know, coming from the pavilion end, yes, the slope going towards the media side. When Khotso, I think he explained that in the morning. I said, every single ball that he bowled, there was something that it was happening. And then he believed that if he bowled in the right areas, they have someone return in that ball. He did that, he picked up his first 5-er, and then now he's on, I would say, 8th wicket for the game. They need 2 more to actually go and bet against South Africa.
This morning, it looked all doom and gloom to say, yo, Australia are on the upper hand, and somehow the South African bowlers were able to wrestle it back. Were you confident that this was going to happen? This is how things were going to look at stumps?
No, I don't want to lie to you. When we went home yesterday, they were 4 down. And then Bavuma and Bedingham, they put things together and it's starting to shape up, you know. And then we got so excited because the ball is a little bit older. And then they went to lunch with only 1 wicket, which is the Bavuma one. And then I think Australia as well, that's when things started to change. The one thing that I actually admire about Cummins as a captain, when they came back from lunch, he was the guy that put his hand up and say, I'm the captain, let me try and fix things here. And then
leading from the front.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you rare to see, you know, from the captain point of view, especially when things are not going very well. I would say that we had Sean Pollock as a captain. When things are not going well, we throw the ball to someone else. But, you know, seeing Cummins as well doing that on his own, especially, you know, for his own country. This is a test that needs people like him being able to put his hand up and say, let me try and see what I can do.
But looking at the pitch, did you think it was going to be a slow scoring affair? Definitely it will give us a result as things stand now. But did you think that it will be as low as it is? Did you think that on day 3, this is how things would be looking?
Not at all. You know, we always predict and say that the first innings are the most important, you know, innings in both teams to have the runs on the scoreboard. You know, I predicted that if the team that batted first will be able to put 500 runs on the board. I never thought that, you know, Australia will be bowled out for 212.
Yeah.
And then as a South Africans, I thought that at least they seen how the wicket is played. They will be able to adjust it and then pass the 212. And then probably South Africa will be finishing today with at least 350 on the board, not knowing that they'll be bowled out, you know, 438.
But 2 things, Makhi, that stand out for me here. As much as South Africa were bowled out for that measly total that they were bowled out for, the bowlers said, okay, give us the ball. We will do something. So it speaks about the mental fortitude of the players. But secondly, I'm so surprised about the amount of support that South Africa has on the stands.
To be honest with you, I thought there will be a bunch of those one that they decided they're going to go by themselves.
Yeah.
Not knowing that the stadium would be actually full as it is today. It's almost like it's England versus Australia. It's a Bami army of both countries. Not knowing that the South Africans, they really, really love their team. How the stadium is now is unbelievable to see how many South Africans, they really gone and support South Africa. People coming from this side. We're seeing faces that, how did you get there?
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. But I think as well, seeing as well that Castle Lager, they became a part of that support only for this test match. It tells you how much, this country has been loved, by the big companies. I'm saying that because Castle Lager started with us. We were part and parcel of their, journey. And then now South Africa is playing in the final. And then Castle Lager will say, we want to be part of that. That for me, it amazes, how good the business people in this country when it comes to the sport.
But I'm just saying, how South Africa mentally are able to dig themselves out of this hole. Does that speak to the kind of people that we have in South Africa, the resilience, that fighting spirits? Because now anything can happen. What do you think is a total that South Africa will be able to chase?
To be honest with you, the wicket is very good. It is a batting wicket, and then it is as well supporting the bowling unit. We were actually sitting there and trying to put, wickets of the individual, as a unit. And we found out that Australia, they have more than 1,000 wickets with the bowling unit that they have in this particular test match. You were talking about the likes of Cummins, you're talking about the likes of Hazelwood, the Leon as well, that is more than 500, test wicket in his hand. And then I think as well that from South African point of view, chasing something that is much more better than trying to pass what has been put on the first innings for the other team. And then I know the boys, they'll be pumped up.
Yeah.
Markram owes us.
Yeah.
Ringleton, we've been seeing him doing very well. And then we've got the Bedingham, that coming up next. And then I think Bavuma as well is going to put his hand up and try to lead up front.
Okay, in just one word, Makhi, do you think South Africa will win this test match?
If I was you, I'll put my hand up and say, I'll put my money. The last cent that I have, that South Africa will be able to chase the score.
Thank you. That is legendary Makhaya Ntini.